I like having a podium, man.
Do this.
If I can make it. I'll bring a podium over. Christina and
This is the piece of shit workshop. I mean, the VLS work.
I will definitely be saying that.
Right. Greatest workshop ever.
What's up, Jay?
Hey,
What's up? What's up, man? Hey, can you guys hear me on the mic, or is it's not very clear?
It sounds
Clear?
good. Yeah, we can hear you.
Like Chris?
Crisp, clean.
Stop, talk. Whew.
You're muted.
I just went over like 10 minutes of fire, Christina. You tell me I was muted that whole time? Okay.
Well, no, you guys cut out. You were like gone for a while.
Yeah, I thought we were waiting.
Go on in 60 seconds. Let's do one of these. All right, cool. Cool. Good job on hopping on early, guys. You guys can hear me okay though? It's all good? All right. Hey, just so you guys know, if it freezes up over the Zoom, it's not my fault. But I'll try to reiterate as much as possible. And I know that can get a little frustrating. This is going to be recorded. Okay. So if we do freeze up or something like that, I probably will not go back too much. Maybe we can watch a recording or something, just so we can go in and out and be able to get the job done and go over the POS workshop. Man, I'm excited to go over this because I know, in the month of March, we're going to be experiencing March Madness, which it's literally madness. Like they call it March Madness for a reason, but we have the top performers up against each other. And to get a little extra, oomph, we're going to be provided with a lot of POS. But this month is going to plant the seeds to be able to get the leads. All right. So we definitely want to have a good month. We don't want to, slow down or anything like that. Okay. All right. If you guys are going to be on here, let's show some face. Let's show some face. Come on, you know the drill. I remember, who was it? I think it was the CEO of our company. He said, hey guys, how's everybody doing? He said, real quick, I don't talk to pictures. So if anybody's got their picture up, you can just get off. That's the first thing, or literally our CEO of the company. I was like, holy moly, okay. But I feel the same way. We got to be prepared for sure. So yeah, grab a chair. Let's make sure we get 5 minutes early on here, guys. You know what I mean? That way we can get started. Hey, I always say this: note takers are what? Money makers. Money makers. Come on, let's get some energy in here. Come on, let's get some people clapping. Come on. Energy. I'm about to get literally a sign or like something like a waiver. You got a sign. Come on. No, you're good. I wasn't saying come on you. I was just getting everybody amped up. Everybody on Zoom. Come on, let's talk it up. Let's talk it up.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, Christy. Let's go. Let's get fired up. Come on.
You want some chanting?
Let's hear it.
What'd you say? POS. 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 Come on, babe. POS. 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 All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I think we're good. We got everybody got their notes out, ready to take some good notes? Yes, sir. All right, perfect. Okay. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to be kind of reviewing my notes. I kind of took a little bit of fire from previous workshops and kind of combine them together so we can kind of have a nice, concise workshop, be able to get the job done. First things first, right? Note takers are money makers, right? Knowledge is not power. I say this every freaking time. Okay. Knowledge doesn't mean anything. Knowledge is not anything without implementation. Okay. You have to implement this stuff. Okay. We can give a million workshops. We can go over a bunch of stuff, but the key to success is the implementation. Okay. So first things first, you got to take the knowledge. That's great that you guys are in the workshop. Good job. Second thing is we got to take notes on the knowledge. And then the third thing is we got to take it and apply it to our business. All right. Right. So first and foremost, of course, guys, definitely privileged, honored to be able to speak to all you guys. You guys are the best of the best, right? Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So definitely appreciate you guys. And today, topic of discussion today is going to be POS. That does not stand for a piece of shit like Matt Brown said, okay? That stands for policy, owner, service. It's the complete opposite, actually. Policy, owner, service. Guys, it's a privilege, an honor to be able to run POS. Here's why, guys, a couple reasons. The first reason is if I literally printed out 100, maybe 200, 300 POS right now, right? If I went ahead and printed out 300 POS and I had a stack of them all right here, they stacked up to here, okay? And I told you guys, I said, look at this stack. Which one of these people do you think are buyers? 100%. Say 100% of them. You know why? Because they've all bought before. Every single one of them is a buyer. You can't prejudge a POS. They've already bought before. And if they bought once, they're way more willing to buy again, right? So we need to understand that. The second reason why it's an extreme privilege to be able to run these, guys, this is somebody's renewals. This is somebody's literally kids' funds for education. Like this is somebody that worked really hard, a prior agent, worked their ass off to sign somebody up, and then literally is getting renewals off this that pay for their mortgage or pay for whatever. So if we mess up a policy owner and we give them a bad service, dude, we are literally ruining somebody else's renewals, right? That's a problem, right? That's why we have to stay true to the couple things with POS. POS are a different breed. They're a little different, right? You got to have a little bit different swag with the POS, right? So here's some quick tips that we got to have when it comes to the POS, okay? So the first thing is I want you guys to understand the benefits of running POS, okay? The benefits. The first thing I have to say, POS are better. Just hands down, POS are better. The reason why they're better, they have better show ratio. They have better close ratio. Out of all the leads that we run, POS absolutely have the highest closing ratio out of any single lead that we run except for a referral. Referrals have the highest. POS has the next highest, right? But referral's not technically a lead. So as far as a lead goes, POS definitely has the highest. It has the highest retention. If you sign up a POS, it is very, very unlikely that they're going to drop their policy. Guys, POS, they already have bank accounts 9 times out of 10, right? They already have bank accounts. So they're a little bit more of a qualified lead. Guys, they've qualified before, okay? They've qualified before with their health. So they're more likely to be able to qualify again, okay? Term conversions. Guys, term conversions are literally like a 9% closing ratio. If you don't close a term conversion, then we need to figure out what we're doing in our pitch. Tommy told me the other day, he's like, this person isn't selling anything. He's like, is he calling them on the phone and telling them, don't effing buy anything? Sometimes, you know, we would tell agents like, dude, do you go to the door like with a Jason mask? Like you're running POS, you should be able to close at a 90% closing ratio, right? So term conversions are high closing ratio. Easy sales. They have a term. We present the whole life and the best thing in the world, which it is, okay? And what happens is they don't want term anymore, right? And I'll go into why it's so important. Please no yawning, guys. If you guys are going to yawn, get out, please. Y'all, I want 3 hours of sleep. Come on. You hurt my feelings. Are we treating this job like it's a job, like it's just over broke? Or are we treating it like a career? Wake up. Wake up. We're talking about POS here. You know it took me a year to run POS? You guys are running POS in 3 months. Your first week. Wake up. I'm not being an asshole, but you want to treat this deal like it's a $20,000 deal. I promise you, like I always say, you're going to get a treat. You're going to make 20 grand. Wake up, dog. Wake up. Wake up. I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but you guys are going to be wondering why people are getting the job done and why people are sitting here yawning. Okay. Come on. Trying to give you guys some fire. I wish I had this stuff when I first started. I wish I had this stuff. You guys don't even realize how privileged you are. I was running Child Safe. Nothing wrong with Child Safe, but Child Safe for first POS, right? You guys taking stuff for granted. Walking around like we're in a freaking Ferrari and we're acting like, no offense to anybody that has a Honda, but you're literally acting like it's a Honda, right? You got to act like this is $1 million position, or else it's going to treat you like it's not $1 million, guys. I'm telling you. Guys, the presentations are shorter. Presentations are shorter. You don't have to sit here and go through everything. The presentation is shorter. Trust is there. Guys, the biggest reason why we will lose a sale is because of lack of trust and credibility. Lack of trust and credibility. POS already have that trust. They have that credibility. They already got that. Doesn't mean we don't have to build the trust throughout, but the trust is way more higher. Okay? So the first things first, guys, before you try to pick up a POS, before you even try to pick up the phone, make a call, you have to be sold on 3 things. I'll say this over and over again. What are the 3 things, guys? The first thing they buy is what?
Me, the
They buy
company,
you.
the product.
The company, the product. Why do I go over this almost every workshop? Because the only difference between somebody that can close like Marvin, right? Like Christina, right? Is their passion. That's the only difference. The only difference between a good closer and a bad closer is someone that's very passionate, okay? They say the only time you feel pressure is when you're not prepared, is what they say, right? But in our line of work, when you're talking about the sale, the only time you feel like you're pressuring people is when you're not sold. If you feel like, I'm being pushy, I'm just, I feel like I'm just pushing people, Gio, dude, we're not sold. We're not sold. Dude, I will go in the close for freaking an hour if I have to make this thing make sense. I'm like, listen, okay, real quick before we get wrapped up. Okay, I just want to make sure. Right? Like, I will go back and forth like a psycho with these people because I am so freaking sold. Your passion drives you. Your passion makes you sold, right? You got to be sold, right? So the first thing, you're sold on yourself, guys. You're not going to be the best of the best right now, right? You might not even be half as good as Tommy right now, but you got to act like you are. You got to act like you are the best of the freaking best. You have to demand that shit. You can't look at success like it's a freaking option. We wake up in the morning, we're acting like it's a freaking option. Dude, you got to look at success like it's your obligation, like it's your duty. Like, dude, you were on this earth to be successful. You were destined for greatness. That's how you be sold on yourself. You got to be sold on yourself. Another way to get really sold is through repetition. Repetition. Through repetition, going over and over and over and over again. Guys, I said this last night, but it's not what you do from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's what you do from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. that's going to separate you from the pack. That was me. That was, I know, a lot of you guys. Going from 9 p.m. to freaking, dude, if you didn't get 15 presentations in a week, you got to make up the difference. You got to put yourself on film for the other 5 that we missed. You have to get 15 presentations no matter what for the week. You have to. So through these reps, you start to get confident. They buy you, but they buy a confident you. People buy confidence, right? They buy confidence. If you say things confidently, they're going to be sold on that because they're going to answer it confidently, okay? You got to be sold yourself. Through these reps, you also get what's called situational awareness, right? Situational awareness. Law enforcement talks about situational awareness. And what they say is that law enforcement has to be really, really good at situational awareness. This is proactively de-escalating a situation before it occurs. Why do you think a police officer, when they come to your door, they stand so far back? They're proactively de-escalating something that could happen, right? So when we're working and we're learning and repping things out, we get that situational awareness. We start to realize that there's going to be different situations that happen and occur. And all you guys, I don't see this a lot, and I'm freaking surprised, dude. Everybody needs a rebuttal book. When you're done with a pitch, you go in your rebuttal book, you write down every freaking thing that happened, and then boom, at the end of the night, you talk to your manager on what happened. That's not happening enough. You're not bothering your manager enough. You should know everything in and out, especially if you've been here for more than 2 months. You should know everything. You can't give the excuse and say, oh, I've only been here for 2 months. Dude, flip that over. I've been here for Already 2 months. Not, hey, I've only been here for 2 months. No, I've been here for already 2 months. I should know this, right? That's the mentality. Okay. The second thing, guys, okay, that we're sold on, we got to be sold on what? What's the second thing? The company. Guys, this company is the best of the freaking best, dude. The best of the best. There's no company better than this. And you have to be sold on that. Guys, you should feel detrimental if people don't buy this stuff off you, right? If they don't have this company and they have State Farm, you should be like, dude, what? You have State Farm, you don't have our company? That's a huge problem. That's a huge concern. Are you sold? Or are you just like, oh, they have State Farm, it's good whole life policy? Dude, you got to be sold on the company. Guys, during the pandemic, right? Our company record was how much? Does anybody know in 1 week what our company record was?
13%.
As far as like how much LP production we did for a week.
For the week, the whole company.
Come on, we got to know this.
This specific agency or
No,
AAL?
company. In 1 week,
7 mil?
7 mil. 7 mil. Come on, if you don't know that, write that down. 7 mil. We did $7 million. That was our company record. During the pandemic, we did what to beat that record? What do you think? A little less. 9 mil. Okay. 9 mil. Let's go. We did $9 million. We beat our all-time record by $2 million during the freaking pandemic. The company literally, you know how long it took them to go virtual? Do you know how long it took the company to make the decision to go virtual?
1 week.
A week. Dude, in a week they went virtual. Dude, we've always for the last 7 years had to do this in person. And then we switched around and in 7 days did it freaking virtual. Talk about impressive. You know, they say that the animals that last the longest weren't the most beautiful animals. They weren't the animals that were the strongest, the biggest. They were the ones that were the most adaptable. The most adaptable. Dude, our company, you got to be sold on this. Our company is very, very adaptable. Nothing can stop us. All the way up, right? Nothing stop us. Okay? Recession-proof, depression-proof, like I always say, bulletproof. Okay? So you got to be sold on the company, dude. You got to be sold on this company. Next thing is the products. Guys, during the pandemic, there was a lot of people that had to borrow from their retirement plans. There was a lot of people that had to, go through the process of losing a lot of money during the stock market. Imagine if you had your family, you just spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on life insurance, and they told you, hey, your policy is collapsing, right? You're with State Farm, whatever the company is. Your policy is lapsing, guys. I'm sorry, all the money that you to it gone because it was what? It was dependent on the stock market. With us, did that happen? No, it didn't happen. You have to be sold on the products. You have to be so freaking sold. I don't even want to have a raise of hands, but I know there's some people in here that bought a policy recently. If you don't have a policy, and I'm not just saying this, dude, we don't make a dime off you writing a policy. Trust me, it makes no difference to us. But if you don't have a policy with the company, how are you going to sell something you don't have? You know, Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold, one guy came up to him and said, hey, listen, I'm having trouble. After you buy a car, you go to the what? What do you go to after they sell you like the insurance, the oil changes? What's that guy called? Girl guy.
The spray, the underspray on
The underspray, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Whatever that guy's called. I was seeing if anybody else knew. I forget. It's not in my brain right now.
From that, dude.
Well, dude, here's the thing. So the reason why he couldn't sell his products is Grant Cardone, the first thing he said, do you have any of the products yourself? He said, well, no. He said, well, I don't need to go over anything else. You don't even have the products yourself. Dude, that's like working at a steak joint and them asking you, hey, what's the best steak here? And you're like, oh, I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. It wouldn't make any sense. Why would management what? You have to be sold yourself, dog. You have to be sold. You have to be sold. This isn't the suit that has it, but one suit says a salesman is a sold man. You got to be sold. Sales is a transfer of belief. So first be sold on those 3 areas, and then you can think about trying to sell other people. Be sold. Dude, you ever watch me or go back and forth with somebody, or somebody that's a good closer, like go back and forth? You guys, like, dude, you think like, oh, he's gonna give up. Dude, don't give up. Don't give up. You didn't just go 2 hours straight. Freaking go through a whole pitch to just pack up your bags because they said I want to think about it twice. You got to keep going. People ask me, how many times do you go? I said, or how many times do you go until you walk away? I said, that's a good question. That's a good question. I say, I go until they say yes. So there's no real number. I just go until they say yes. Right? So that's the first thing, guys. The second thing, or the second next thing is going to be product knowledge. Okay, guys, you got to be what's called the product knowledge expert. You got to be the product knowledge expert. You guys have to know that rate book inside and out. Trust with a policy owner is if we don't even know, make sure you guys are looking up. If you have a policy that you don't know, go home and make sure that you look up the policy. And let's freeze up over there a little bit. But make sure you guys call up home office, look up the policy, figure out what it is. Don't just ask what it is, ask when it terminates, ask everything about that policy. You got to get familiarized with your rate book. There's a 3rd or 4th page. It's the descriptions, the plan descriptions. You have to familiarize yourself with every single plan that we carry. And then what will happen is you'll start to get familiar with how much other insurance policies are supposed to cost. That's why in the family information guide, we ask those 4 say, what company is it with? How long ago did you get it? How much is it worth? And how much are you paying for it? The reason why we ask that is by those 4 questions, we know what type of policy that they have. But the only way we're going to know that is if we have all these other policies in our brain. Like I know Huntsberger called me one time. He said, dude, he said, bro, I've shown these options. I don't know what the heck the deal was. I tried. I was like, how much were the options? He said 150 for Joe, 150 for Mary. I was like, dude, that seems high. I was like, how old were they? I was like, how old is? I asked all the details. I said, bro, those options are incorrect. There's no way that's right. He's like, no, dude, I plugged it right in the e-app. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, like, I didn't even know, I didn't have it in front of me. I said, did you put him as like a tobacco or something? He said, dude, I put him as a tobacco user. It was like $70 more because of these people were tobacco. He's beating himself up, right? The moral of the story is I know almost the exact, it's nothing special about it. I just have studied it over and over and over, just like what Ashley was saying. You have to be obsessed with this stuff. There's no secret to success. She's just obsessed. The secret to success is being obsessed. That's what it is, okay? All right, another tip. So when you're in person, guys, make sure as a control thing that you guys are also making sure that you grab their policies, okay? When you grab their policies, make sure you proactively say, hey, real quick, also, did you have that folder they left you with last year? Okay, perfect. Go ahead and grab that real quick. We're going to need that, okay? When they go grab that policy, you can't let them, you know what they're going to do? They're going to start fumbling around with their policy. Oh, okay, what's this? They're going to be looking at it. So you grab it, okay? And as you're building rapport, you're going through it and making it look like, I switched papers, right? I don't want to take papers out because sometimes people get worried about that. Why are you taking papers? So don't be that person that's like taking papers and putting it with you, right? If you're going to do anything, add documentation. Don't take away, right? They're going to look at you like, why is this person? Some people are like, whoa, what are you doing with my papers? Right? That's a good way to lose trust right there.
Gio,
Okay.
when you're doing virtual, obviously you can't play around with their papers. So are you not grabbing it virtual?
That's exactly what I was gonna go over, Ash. 100%, good question. So, when you're in person, you wanna obviously make sure that you grab it, okay? And, you wanna take it and act like, as you're building rapport, you're kind of like, fumbling through the papers. Look like you're actually doing something, because here's the thing, you told them you're gonna go over their paperwork, you're gonna show them how to file a death claim, we're gonna go over what you currently have, and we're gonna make sure you're in a good spot today, right? That's the line we always use. Now, if you say we're gonna go over your paperwork, right, we're gonna update your new claims forms, proof of death forms, and we don't do anything with their folder, they're gonna be wondering like, dude, you just came here just to sell me insurance and up my coverage, right? So you gotta be smart there, okay? So make sure you do that. Now, if you're doing virtual, dude, I don't even want them to grab the freaking folder virtually sometimes, because they're over here messing with it and we can't see it. You're like, okay, hey, set it aside, right? There's no way we can grab it. So if they don't say anything about their folder, then I don't mention it through virtual. Now, if they're like, oh no, I have my folder right here, or I see them looking down and stuff, I'm like, hey, did you have that folder in front of you? Oh, perfect. I'll tell you what, super, super important. I need you to close that real quick. Set that aside, because I need to make sure I go over this with you. It's super important. That way we get to our next memories and honestly get you where you need to be as well. To tell them they have to set it aside. You don't want them messing with the paperwork, okay? You don't want them finding out that they have a term and they're not even listening to you throughout the pitch, right? Here's another tip. If they say, well, Gio, or they say, Marvin, what kind of policy do I have, right? Or, hey, I'll tell you what, I thought I had term. Never tell them what type of policy that they have until the very, very end after the needs analysis. Guys, you can't tell them the ending to a movie. They're not going to watch the movie, right? You have to keep the suspense alive. The biggest problem you can do is, oh, well, you actually have this, this, and this. They're going to be like, okay, perfect. Is there anything else you need to go over with me, right? So you always leave it to the very, very end. Always leave it to the very end. Never tell them what they have. All right. Okay. All right. You have to be what's called even-handed. This is the next thing. You have to be what's called even-handed, is what Grant Cardone calls it, in Seller v. Solar. Be even-handed on two things. One, their policy, and two, the prior agent. All right. So first is on their policy. The second is the prior agent. Here's why. Okay. You have to be what's called even-handed is what they call it. So let's say they say, hey, I'll tell you what, my last agent that was out here, what happened to him? Did he quit? He fired? The worst thing you say is, please don't be saying this, guys. I heard someone was saying this. I don't know who it was, but they said the last agent got fired. You can't be saying that stuff. The last agent got fired. You know how a sure way to ruin your credibility is to say the last person got fired. You want to build up the company, build up the last agent, right? Here's my little line I usually say, and I've said it forever. So let's just say they say, man, I'll tell you what, Gio, I've had the different agent every single time. How many times people get that ever? I've had a different agent every single time. And now you're like the fifth person to come out here. You say, that's a great question, Joe and Mary. To be honest with you, what we usually do is we usually put a really big policy on them, and then we usually just kill them off. No, I'm just kidding, right? I cracked that joke to break the ice, okay? Then I'll say, no, I'm just kidding, guys. So to be honest with you, we always like to make sure our guys and girls are doing work and getting the job done, so they get sent off to different areas. They're never in one area at one time. Okay, so that's all. They're just out there running around. There's a lot of different union members that we're taking care of. Just make sure it's apparent that they are out there running around and they're traveling to different states or whatever it is, and they're still working. I don't care if they did get fired. I don't care if they did quit. I don't care if the last agent was a piece of crap. I don't care. You build them up. You say, oh no, yeah, Joey, he is one of the hardest workers I knew. He probably took really good care of you guys. Okay. But yeah, to be honest with you, the reason why you don't see the same person is honestly, like I said, we usually we put a really big policy on them and then we usually kill them off, Joe. No, I'm just kidding. No, the real reason is there's so many different union members in different states and things of that sort. They're always traveling and going to these different areas. They're always working their butts off. They're working, pretty much all day, every day to make sure that all the members are taken care of. Does that make sense? Okay. So make sure that you guys, and it's freezing up over here, but make sure that you guys build it up. The other thing is with their policies. Once you finally do take their policy out, let's say it's even a term through our company, to be what's called even-handed, right? If they have a term or they have the crappiest policy in the world, they have universal or something like that, you can't be beating up their policy and say, oh, yeah, Joe, I don't know why, Bill, the last agent signed you up with this term. Doesn't even make any sense, right? We can't do that. You got to build up the last agent. You got to build up the company, right? You can't be. It's going to ruin those, right? I say, if they have a term, let's just say, I'll say, hey, no, listen, guys, you did a great job. Okay. Nothing wrong. Heck, not even anything wrong that the prior agent did that put this in place. You guys actually did a really, really phenomenal job. Okay. You wanted your family to be protected. The biggest concern, guys, and the biggest problem, especially in your age group, a really term, super rare to see term in your age group. So the only thing that they're looking at back at the union is 10% whole life. As much we need to make sure we have the whole life in place, as much as I have with all the other members that have the whole life, as much as you guys definitely need this, we have to do some questions just to see if you can qualify. Now, Joe, can I go right into questions? You see how everything pertained to him having the whole life, right? Or him or her, whoever it is. As much as you need the whole life, as much as you need it. Pertain it to. So, as much as I have to, I say have to, not I will catch you up. As much as we have to catch you up with all the other members that have the whole life, as much as your family needs, we have to ask to see if we can. Dude, that's how people are gonna stop getting mad. People have to be originally sold on what they purchased first, then they'll buy something. If they're all pissed years ago, they are not going to make a decision today. If you think beating up the last agent or beating up is going to say that in leadership all the time, like if you beat teams or you, it actually makes you look worse. Dude, you lose credibility. That's a sign of weakness. You don't want to beat up the other policy or the other agent that was out there, the policy. Okay, you build them up. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. I have to say the word problem 100 times, guys. You have to say that throughout the pitch so many times. Problem, concern. Out. You need. Well, I'm a policy owner. Issue.
We cannot hear you, Gio.
He's sold on.
You're muted. I think you're still muted, Gio. Like you're on mute. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Christina. I can't hear him.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us.
Okay.
Dang, guys, so I gotta hold in, the mouse died on us as the internet went out. And, I have to hold in the space bar in order to mute and unmute. Dead.
If you just tap the space bar, it'll keep you
It's
on
gonna be
mute.
awkward. I'm just gonna hold in the space bar like this. All right? Yeah, you're smart. Who said that? Who said that? All I had to do was put a weight on it. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys, cool. We don't talk anymore. So, the last couple of things that you guys might have missed is record yourself. I feel bad for everybody virtual. I can probably go. Can you guys hear me okay? In and out. We got it figured out. Yeah, we just hold in the space bar. Good job, man. I would have never known that. All right, so maybe we can. Maybe someone can go on their phone.
Like live it.
Yeah, maybe someone could go on their phone and then like just point it, I guess, toward me or something. And then I'll just mute this bad boy up or something. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be recorded.
Do you want it recorded, Gio, or do you want like a?
Like on Zoom.
Yeah, like literally just join them and then you can just hand me the phone.
I don't have the Zoom.
I would do it on your
Same
data, not the
problem,
Wi-Fi.
concern. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do for sure. That's what we're gonna do. So
I'm trying to join.
Yeah.
join? Okay, cool. Oh, I need a mouse to join. Dude, the mouse died.
That might work.
To the rescue.
Drew.
Hey.
Drew.
Okay, so now the internet's okay, so I'm gonna let you in.
Okay.
We'll see if it works right now. Is it okay? We should end on the phone. Let's just end on the phone. Let's do it. Let's end on the phone. Yeah, I don't want to deal with the freezing too much.
You got it, Brian?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, Brian.
It's the Sabrina Lloyd Agency.
They're
You're still muted.
Can you guys hear me now?
There we go.
All right, cool. Hey, listen, I'm gonna send this. Oh my God. You wanna put it over there?
I can't.
know. He's got all the.
Are you trying to talk to this mic or to the computer?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I just need them to hear me, but it's gonna play right there. What about if I just use it? Yeah. Is that good?
They might.
Give thumbs up if you guys can hear.
Can you guys hear? Dude, if you're virtual.
Just turn in your license.
Yes, yes. Man, this is gonna have to buy here for the workshop. All right. I'm still so happy.
I think if you.
I would be, actually, I probably. We should go straight.
FaceTime?
Yeah, we can FaceTime. I don't know if you can FaceTime Zoom.
That's a FaceTime.
Marquise, can you hear me?
House party.
Yep.
House party. House party, yeah?
That'd be dope.
You know what we could do? I could log into the opportunity on this, but it would probably end this, so. That's the only thing. And it would, what'd you say?
Low key, yeah, merge a call.
You wanna just continue and send them the recording?
Yeah, that's probably what we're gonna have to do.
I mean, yo, this is fine like this.
Oh.
Can you guys hear us?
I'm just recording.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, sorry about that, guys. Obviously, nobody's fault, just the internet, but, well, more or less, okay, so I don't know what you guys heard, definitely hear the recording for the stuff that's missed, but the last thing I just said was, just make sure you record your presentation and you just write down how many times you say problem. Write down how many times you say today, because you have to say it like after everything. You have to say problem and sell the problem and the concern. Okay, you have to sell it. Okay. Now, more or less, guys, so just to recap a couple of things, guys, because I know internet cutting out and stuff like that, it's kind of giving us issues, but just want to make sure you guys know, okay? With the POS, okay, it stands for Policy Owner Service, okay? Make sure that we give them a good service. Remember, it's a privilege to be able to have the POS. It's a privilege, it's an honor to be able to have them. It took me, almost a year to get them, you know what I mean? So you guys, we're gonna be able to get them next month. And some of us have already gotten them maybe in the first couple of weeks. So always look at them like, hey, we gotta prioritize them. We gotta take good care of them. Doesn't mean we can't push with them. We can push, but you just gotta be careful that, obviously that we're giving them good service, no complaints or anything like that, okay? And then make sure, like I said, we're being even-handed through the POS. When it comes to, I was gonna share the screen, do like, it's not gonna work. I was gonna share the screen, show you guys like term conversion, like how to do it and stuff. So I'm not gonna be able to do that, unfortunately, guys, I apologize. But I'll kind of go over it, like the gist of it. If they have, okay, so if they have a term and it's for $100,000, because you're gonna run into term conversions for sure, okay? If you have a term for $100,000, you can only convert up to $100,000 without them having to qualify. If you convert over, let's say 200,000 or more than that 100,000, they just have to qualify.
That's like just as much coverage they have, right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So, good question. So it's just like if they have 100,000, right? I don't know. I guess I was wrong. So if they have 100, right? You can only convert over 100 without having to qualify. So if they have health issues, they can't qualify. If they have a term, remember, it's renewable and convertible, which means they can convert it over into whole life and they do not need to qualify. Now, if they want to convert it over, let's say 200,000, they would have to go through the qualifying questions. They can do that, but they'd have to, like I said, they just have to requalify, okay?
For all 200 or just that extra 100?
Good question. So for it just be a normal qualifying, so it'd be for the 200, right?
So I mean, when you're filling out EF,
Mhm.
like obviously you have to answer those questions.
Wait, actually, no, I'm sorry, I misinterpreted your question. They do not need to qualify for the first 100, only the additional.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure I answer that properly.
How does that work?
For qualifying?
Yeah, like would you just sign up for 200K on the EF and?
Yeah, so good question. So, this, a term conversion is always going to be a paper application. Okay? All you would do is just put 200,000 for the select on a paper application. Okay? So here's some tips too on this and just to make sure we're on the same page. So term conversion, right? We have 4-year, 10-year, right? Those are the most common you'll see. Those are what's called renewable and convertible. They can keep renewing it without having to qualify, and they can convert it over without having to qualify as well. Now, here is the thing with the term conversion. Remember, they can qualify for up to 100,000. So if they have 50,000, how much can they convert over? 50. They can convert it over as much as they want, but up to 50 without having to qualify. Good job, okay? Now, here's the other thing. Let's say they got 50 a term. Okay, what options would you show them? Let's say they got 50 a term. Let's even say they have 100 a term. Just even say they have 100. Okay, 100K of term. Okay, don't worry about the accidental. Just what whole life would you show them? What would be A, B, and C? Yeah, you got it. Biggest pet peeve is people will go, okay, I'm gonna show them 100 for A, 50, and then 30. And then what sometimes people pick to mitigate their risk, sometimes they'll pick 30, right? Dude, you might as well have left them with $100,000 a term, because God forbid they die, they're gonna get 100 versus 30 now. And they're gonna requalify when they up it, right? So make sure if they have 100,000, option A needs to be 200,000. Right? Option B is 150. And option C is the bare minimum. That's just converting over the term. Okay? Make sure we're aware of that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. You should never come out of a term, right, not being able to convert more. You should be able to convert and add, right?
So option C is always what they currently have.
You got it. Yeah, option C is always what they currently have. You never, ever want to leave a term conversion with them just converting over like 30 grand or something like that. You're actually doing them a disservice. They might as well just keep the term at that point. Okay. Now here's the other thing, guys. Let's say they were paying $30 for the term. You're showing them, let's say option B is, let's just say $100. I'm just using it as an example. Okay. They're paying 30. You're converting it over to 150 for 100. This is a bad example. I'll use 100. Okay. Let's say they convert over the 100, okay? Just keep it for simplest terms. They're paying 30, you're converting them over, and it's gonna be $100. What do you get paid? How do you determine the amount that you get paid in the LP? You take the difference, exactly. So you're actually getting paid not the full 100. So when you post in the group or you're working your numbers, it's not 100 times 12. Because they're already paying 30, right? Now, here's another question I get. Does that make sense, though, first of all? Here's another question I get. Do you hurt the prior agent when you convert policies? Okay? No, you don't. You actually solidify the renewals because it locks in their 30. So, like, let's say if you sell someone a term and then, Faith goes out there and converts them over, right? Let's say I sold somebody, she converts them a year later. It doesn't hurt me at all, right? It doesn't hurt me. It actually helps the prior agent because it converts over the original policy. So it locks in. Now they're going to keep the whole life forever.
Right.
Does that make sense? The only
Term
time,
ends, so after the term ends, that agent gets nothing.
So do they get renewals on that then?
So the only.
they still, yeah, so good question. So this person, okay, so Giovanni, right? Gio, that's me. Okay. I got the term. I sold him a term, right? This is Faith right here. Faith comes in here. A little closer she is, okay, and she sells them this bad boy. She sells them this one, okay. So since they're still paying $30, right? You only get the difference. They're still paying the $30 for my term technically, but it's just converted over into whole. So they're using this 30 of what I sold them originally to pay for a portion of the whole life. Does that make sense? So it actually locks in my renewals because they'll be able to keep it forever now. Does that make sense? Okay, so it never affects the prior agent. That's what's cool about it. That's why we're always building up the prior agent, because we don't want them to, think that the worst thing you can do is have them cancel the term or actually, if someone cancels their prior policy, you can't enroll them into another policy. There's a 6-month waiting period. So if you say, hey, listen, this guy sucks, this, that, and another, cancel his policy, go with me, right? You'll get hit with a chargeback, right?
What if he gets a new policy and then cancels it? So
You would have to wait. It's a good question. So, yeah.
So like
Thanks,
he
right.
had a term and then he just like, I'm gonna keep my term, but then I'm gonna pay a whole life, an additional 100K.
Mhm.
2 months later, he drops his term.
Yeah, you'll get hit with a chargeback. The reason being is because it's considered replacement and predatory practice if we do it within 6 months. Okay? They call it predatory practice because they don't want people going in there like, hey, cancel this, or hey, you know what I mean? Like, you like me better? All right, let me get a policy on you. We'll take good care of you, right? And then you mess up the other agent. So, question.
Yeah, sorry, I don't wanna get you too off track, cause I know you're not allowed to cover, but like, I found like when I tried to do term conversions in the past, and I'm trying to break down to them, like, hey, this is what you're paying for the term, except this is what you're gonna be paying for the whole, you gotta do this math, and then it's like kind of confusing.
Yeah.
And so like when you're presenting the options, like,
Mhm.
can you just go over really quick, like how you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, for
That
sure.
would be helpful.
Definitely. I got a meeting at 11, so I'm gonna try just as quick as I can.
Okay,
Okay?
sorry. We
No,
can do
no,
it
no.
later, we can, I don't know.
No, you're good. It's a great question. It's definitely a great question. So, okay, so when I present the options, right, I literally, like if the whole life's $300, that was terrible. I was gonna do an A and a 3 at the same time. If it's $300 a month, I literally present this like this. So I go 200, right, 150, whatever it is, A, B, C, right? Okay, so literally the way I do it is if they're paying $30 a month for the term, I just tell them, I show them the whole life options. And then at the end of C, I'm like, hey guys, keep in mind that all these options are for the whole life. You're already paying $30 a month for your term. So it's really like you're only paying $270 a month because that $30 is going to transfer over. Okay, and option B, it's really like it's only a 170. It's actually not 200 because you're already accustomed to paying $30 a month for the term. So you're actually really only paying 170 a month. Okay. And then for option C, bare minimum, just getting your foot in the door, at least converting over the term, because like I said today, we have to convert it over, at least get you out of that term. That's actually going to be only 120, because you're already paying 30. Okay. So we just need to figure out which one, blah, 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 go right into it. So I literally, I show them the whole life and I tell them to subtract because of the term.
Okay, that's what you
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the way you do it though, usually?
Yeah, but sometimes I would try to like show them the whole options, then subtract the term, then try to explain it, and it's,
Yeah.
it's confusing.
Exactly. So, and I just thought, you're exactly right, Faith. I used to do the same thing. I used to show 270.
Yeah.
And then when I'd be like, okay, so, 300 is gonna be coming out in the next, they're like, whoa, I thought it was 270.
Right.
That's why I started doing it like this, because I started to get the objection. Right. So, yeah, that's a really good question. So I say, and keep in mind, guys, you're paying whatever you're paying for a term right now, you're not gonna pay that anymore. So if you're paying $100 for your term, well, now you're really only paying 200, right? For the whole life, because you're already accustomed to paying 100 for the term. Does that make sense? Okay. At this part, you got to slow it down more than just like showing options to like a hard card or something like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you have a question?
Well, I was just gonna ask, so on a term, like for the paper app, if there's
Brian, you're muted.
Done anything. Can you hear now? There you go.
You do not. Answer your question. Yeah,
leave-
so
leave blank?
you actually circle the back on the paper app, exit, and then put the term conversion on there. Yeah, so that's all you got. But if you add an accidental, So if you convert over 50,000 a term and they had 50 and you added accidental, then you have to fill out the back. Okay, only if it's just a straight up term conversion, right? Is what you do. Yeah, it's good. Does that make sense?
I hello.
What's up, Christina?
Hi, question. So you use the 100,000 as an example, but is it up to 100,000 or it's just whatever they have?
Say it again.
For the term conversion, you said over 100,000, they have to do the qualifying questions, but was that because you're saying that they had 100,000, or is it like over 100,000 is what they have to do qualifying questions for?
That's a good question. Yeah, I was just using 100,000 as a hypothetical. So the
That's what I was-
100,000, yeah, if they have 200,000 and you go to convert it over, you can convert over all 200,000.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So I was just using it as like a hypothetical example. And nope, you can, there's no limit there. Oh, actually, that brings me to something real quick. On a 4-year RNC, if you do a 4-year, if they have a 4-year renewable and convertible term, and they have 100,000, you have to convert over 100. If it's a 4-year, it's good to know. You can't convert 50 or 30 or anything like that. You have to convert over the full 100. I tried to do this, it didn't work. I don't know, here's why. It's because on a 4-year RNC, the lowest amount you can get is what? Is 100. That's why. So you can only convert over. That's why I don't like, I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather enroll them into the 10 years, just a better product. Our 4-year is, it's just, when they convert it over, they gotta convert over a full 100,000. That might be a problem if they try to do it at 60-some years old, Dude, I had a term conversion at 62 years old. It was like the last year they can do it. It was like huge 4,000 LP deal, and they had no choice. They had to convert over 100. You know what I mean? So, but all right, guys. Well, so if you have more questions or anything like that, sorry about the freezing. Obviously, like I said, the internet's being shaky right now. But I tell you what, like I said, definitely an honor to go over this stuff with you. Hopefully, you guys got some good sauce, some good fire. Let's implement this stuff. Let's take care of our policy owners. And what's great is all these sales that we're getting right now, next year, they're going to come back as policy owners for our people. So let's freaking get it.
Fire, Jim.
Thank you.
Fire.
Thank you.